Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in to Sweet Talk with Ben today. Today we're going to be looking at how to use the Correspondence Tracker here within ConstructionSuite. Now, if you are actually using one of the commercial lines of ConstructionSuite, starting with Contractor and above, you'll actually know that you have the ability to track these different correspondences, everything from your request for information, request for quotes, submittals, and other just general correspondence there between yourself and any internal colleagues, suppliers, vendors, subcontractors, even clients sometimes. This correspondence is going to be able to help keep everybody on the same page. It's going to allow you to have all the exchanged information, exchanged communication in an easy to read, easy to follow hard copy, all in one location here within ConstructionSuite. So as we're taking a look at the Today screen, if you have one of the versions of ConstructionSuite that I mentioned, you'll notice up at the top we do have the Correspondence Overview tab, so we're going to go ahead and navigate there. Once we're here, you'll see that we can already view all of the correspondence logs that we've already created for these varying projects. Again, just like many of the other lists that you see within ConstructionSuite, you can filter this down. You can filter it by any of these column headers that are here, show specific correspondence for individual projects, project groups, and so on. You can open and edit any of these already existing correspondence. So say you've already generated an RFQ and then you received an answer back from that client, you can then open this up and enter that information directly into that correspondence log, so that way you keep everything in the same page. Now to go ahead and create a new one, we're going to select the Add Correspondence link down at the bottom here. We're prompted to go ahead and assign this to a project. So let's say we want to assign it to the Howard residence here. And now we have just a very easy to follow, very easily navigatable window here to enter in all of our information. Now as we're looking through this, we'll notice that some of the dialog boxes are denoted with a bold text label. Any of the boxes that have a bold label to it are going to be required boxes in order to properly generate this correspondence. The first one that we're going to want to start with here is the type. Now as we select the type, we click on the selector menu here. We're going to see all the different correspondence types, so we can actually select to essentially give a label directly to this correspondence. Everything from general to request for a change order, RFIs, RFPs, submittals, transmittals. We provided you with a number of different starting correspondence types that you can begin using within ConstructionSuite, but as always, you certainly can delete any of the ones that you're not going to use, or maybe even add to our list. That way you have all the information that you need, all those correspondence types, to better keep track of your information, keep all those communication logs and threads in one place. You certainly can go ahead and edit this information as well. So if we were to click request for price, maybe we wanted to go ahead and change this to a request for quote instead. Just a very industry standard RFQ. We'll click OK there, and then now select RFQ as our project type, or excuse me, as our correspondence type. Once that's selected, we can begin moving through the rest of the information and include all that we need to that is going to be specific to this RFQ. The project is already going to be selected from where we first created the correspondence. The number will be automatically generated and is going to be specific to the individual correspondence type for this project. What that means is that if we were to go through and create another RFQ after saving this one, we would see that the number is going to be 2. And then if we create another RFQ, it's going to be 3 and 4 and so on. If we were to go into the same project and then create, say, maybe we wanted to create an RFI, and we open that RFI here. Well then, instead of seeing a number of 5, because it keeps track of the individual correspondence type within the project, we'll see that that RFI, assuming that it's our first RFI for this project, will also have a number of 1. Now we do also have the project number that's pulling directly from this project information that we have within the project, so that populates automatically, as well as this date created timestamp. Now we'll want to go ahead and put in a subject here. We can then assign different types of complexity and priority, again just giving you more ability to kind of filter this information. Also gives your contact who you're sending this correspondence to kind of an idea as to what information is coming their way. We can choose unauthored by. Now, say you are creating this RFQ, maybe you are an estimator and you're creating this RFQ for a project manager or for someone else who's really going to be the one in charge of this. You're just helping them out. You can go ahead and you could select them to be this individual who is authored by, or even yourself. Either one, select that contact. In this case, we'll choose Alice Gorey here. We then can go through and select who this information is going to be assigned to. So if we're sending an RFQ to Ajax Supply, we'll select them here. And then once we've received the information back from them, we could go in and input the answered by as well. Now we'll want to make sure that we put in a date required. This date required is essentially going to be their expiration date, if you will. This way, whenever Ajax Supply receives this RFQ, they'll see, okay, well, looks like Alice Gorey has sent me this correspondence and I am required to respond by July 29th. That way you are able to give a good kind of time sensitivity to this correspondence. That way they don't just leave it wide open for you and are able to get back to you as quickly as possible. If you have any sort of cost impact of this correspondence, schedule impact, you can input that information as well as the drawing number, location, discipline, and category. Again, just giving you a better idea of how you can filter this information, different ways to group the correspondence logs as well, just to give you a better way to present the information as you're going through the system. Now, as far as the comments go, we could go ahead and enter in some information here. So we could say specifically, Ajax, please send me a quote, thanks. And this is from Alice, as we mentioned there before. We could then proceed to include any sort of attachments. If we wanted to go ahead and attach either a project file, one that's already within ConstructionSuite, or attach an external file, we certainly could do so. Say we want to go ahead and attach a project file here, at which point we could select any of these, maybe an estimate, something like that. Or, for instance, if we were working in another one of our projects, maybe an RFQ we've generated, we could go ahead and select that here, include that directly within this RFQ. And then once that has been attached, you'll notice that it is here. So this way, whenever we go to maybe email this quote out or email out this RFQ, we have the information here in the comments. All this information will also populate within that email that we send out to them, as well as including the attachment here specifically for this RFQ. Now we can go ahead and send out this email. Just bring up the email log. You can choose exactly who you want to send this to. If the contact who you assigned as the assigned to user already has a valid email address, that will populate here as well. But of course, you could go ahead and select which contact you want to send this out to, including the additional attachments, correspondence document, and the body of this email. Go ahead and send that out to them, and then that way everyone's kept on the same page. You know exactly what's going on, and they have the information there in their hands. As I mentioned originally, once you receive that information back, we certainly could go ahead and open up one of our RFQs here. This is one we just created. You'll notice this information. Say we've gone ahead and received that information back from them. We could go ahead, put in our answered by here, say who sent it back to us. Go to the attachments. Maybe they sent you an Excel file. You could go ahead and attach that directly into this correspondence log as well. That way, all these documents, all this information is going to be housed in one place for you to very quickly take a look at, view, and continue on with this project. So that concludes this episode of Suite Talk. If you like what you see, I encourage you to take a look at some of the other videos that we have available to you. As always, this has been. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great day.